Hey guys, so in this third video in the mini-series on creating a backtesting spreadsheet, I'm going to show you how I personally went about tracking different stops and targets. Take a look, hopefully it can give you some sort of clarity over your own process. As I've said before, and I will repeatedly say, this is what I did, it's what worked for me, it might not work for you, but I'm documenting my journey and want to share it with you because I know at least for one or two of you, you can get a greater insight in kind of what you need to do to create your backtesting spreadsheet. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching.
Hey guys, so in this video, part 3, I'm going to show you how to track multiple stops and targets in your backtesting spreadsheet. If you want to see how we created this basic trade data spreadsheet, so literally this first part, go and watch video 1, there's formulas in there, there's this, that and the other. If you want to look at how we created, how you track your entry filters, then go and look at video 2, because all that's in there. Now, I want to just say again, clearly, what I'm saying about how you track your stops and targets, that is what I personally did. It worked for me. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm saying it's my way. If you want to copy it, fine. If you think, meh, not for me, I want to do it slightly different, then obviously do that. If you think this isn't for me at all, then again, cool, it's fine. We're all different. Okay, so moving on. So I wanted to track, in my personal backtesting, I was looking at 3 different stops with multiple targets. So for example, I wanted to look at a 180R stop loss, and I wanted to look at 3 different targets that went with that stop loss. So for example, I want to look at 180R with a 127 fib extension. I wanted to look at 180R with a 1414, and then I want to look at 180R with a 1618. These are just pure examples, literally for demonstration reasons. Okay, so I want to create a title, so testing. I want to be clear, like honest to God, because this is going to it gets really messy if you're not clear in this part. You want to create separate scenarios so that if you were to hide other parts of your sheet, you can clearly see all the info here about that one particular scenario. So honestly, like, it's important to be clear in what you're tracking because it just gets so messy if you're tracking like 9 different scenarios, as I was. Anyway, so testing. So let's say I wanted to look at 180R stop loss with targets. So 180R stop loss, and remember, I want 3 different targets. So then I'm going to do stop type, target type, and data factor. I'm just going to move these down. Control C, Control V, in case you don't know. So stop type, the stop I'm doing is 180R. The target, as I said, 1272 fib. And now we need to put in our data factors. What that refers to is literally just what the data we need to input. So for example, I need to know what the stop loss number is. I need to know what my target 1 is. A lot of this info is potentially repeated from earlier in the sheet, but it's important to have it all as one so you can literally just hide everything else. Look at this, it's clear. You don't have to faff about scrolling through your sheet to find information. Next is target price 2. So what's our target 2? The extension is the 127 fib. Then we've got exit info, so exit date, exit time, exit price 1. So that relates to target price 1 because that's the order that corresponds. Then exit reason, and where did our second order exit. So to be clear, exit price 1, the number in here is either going to be our stop loss number or our target 1, right? because it can only hit stops or hit target 1. Those are the only 2 options. Whereas with target 2, this can either be our stop loss price, our target 2 price, or I move my stops to break even after we've hit target 1, so I need to add that in. Insert, break even. Right? And then make all this bold and pretty. Merge it up. Okay. And then I'm just going to make this grey because, yeah, I think we've just gotten to the point now where it's clear that I just like stuff to look nice and neat. Right, so there we go. Now, here comes the jazzy part with the formulas. So again, I'm just going to create borders for this. Right, so in terms of my initial stop loss, by the way, this doesn't actually have to have a border. Sorry, because there's nothing going to go under data factor. It starts here. This can be, by the way, to do that, I held down Control, Shift, and the down key. And then you just make it all white, because that's what we like. Okay, so the initial stop loss, 180R, right? For me, this is the same as my stop loss here. So all I did, I clicked equals, then I scrolled along, and then I'm going to click the corresponding cell, and then I'm going to click enter. Remember, click this, bottom right, see the little cross, double click. I hate when it does this. Why won't you just work? Okay, I dragged it down in this case, and then boom, it's copied the formula across. And then we're going to grey it out, because remember what I said earlier, if you do not need to touch these cells again, make it obvious that you do not need to go near these cells, because otherwise you're going to override formulas and it's just going to really get messy. So make it clear. Right, target price 1. Again, this is the same as my info here. Target price 1 is the exact same. So I'm going to click here, equals K6, enter. Again, hover over it, double click, boom, make it grey because we're not touching that cell again. Now, with my break-even price, we're going to put a formula in here, and that formula is an if statement. So we're going to do equals, and to be clear, like, if you're looking at bullish consolidation or bearish consolidation, and that, so as I said in video 1, I personally just need to know in market state if we're bullish or we're bearish, because I'm just looking at trends. If you're looking at bullish consolidation or bearish consolidation, then you need to obviously adjust so that the rule works. It's literally just changing the text, and if that sounds confusing, obviously just message me. So what we're going to do is equals if, and then we're going to scroll back. So if our market state column, so the corresponding cell, if this equals, and then we're going to do a speech mark bullish, type in bullish. With text, you always must do a speech mark or it's not going to pick it up, it's going to F up. So if it equals bullish, then we want, so this is saying if this is true, then we want this to happen. So we want it to be our entry price plus, and I just did for most of my currency pairs, 0.0002, and that is to cover your spread, basically, the costs. So then we want, okay, if this isn't true, so think about it, if this isn't true, it means that we're bearish, because that's the only other value that's going to be in here. So if we're bearish, then I want it to take my entry price, and I want it to minus 0.0002, close bracket, bam. Okay, and then we don't want to touch this again, so click grey. Okay, target price 2, this is raw data, you have to input this. Exit date, we can do a formula for exit date. So if you think about it, okay, so the stop loss is the same, right? The only difference with this scenario and the previous one is that my target 2 is different. So what you can do is you can automate the exit date. The only time you can automate the exit date is if we get stopped out immediately, because then the dates are going to be the same. Obviously, if we hit target 1 and then target 2, the exit date is going to be different. So we're only focusing on the scenario that's going to be the same. So we do equals if, and then scroll back, if exit reason, so click that cell, 06, equals, open speech marks, we're going to do if it equals S. Then we want it to take our exit date. Otherwise, we want it to be blank. And to make it blank, you do double speech marks, close brackets. And then drag it down, or double click. And format this column because it might not be formatted. You go over here to formatting and you click short date. And then this is all going to be your date. Now, as I said in video, I think it was video 1, if, so here it's like, it might be a formula, but it might be blank. So basically you need to look at it and see if you need to override the formula. So here, for example, whoops, up here, we hit targets, yeah? So that means my exit date is going to be different. And then say, for example, it was 12/1/19. Let's do 12/1, just because otherwise it doesn't make sense. If that's the case, then you override the formula, put your own date in, right? Some of the cells are gonna work, some won't. So it's just worth looking at that, yeah. Okay, we can do the same for time. So equals if exit reason equals S, comma, then we want it to take this exit time. Otherwise, we want it to remain blank. So double speech marks, enter. Nothing's come up because we hit targets, double click, we hit stops here. So the time is here, and you need to format this because obviously it's not come out right. Go here and click on time, and there you go, 12 o'clock. Again, make this yellow, so you know you might have to look at it. Now, exit price 1 is going to be the same as our previous scenario. So we're going to do equals and literally just link the cell. Where's my exit price? Here. There. Exit price 1 is the same. Make grey it out so we know. So in terms of my exit reason, that is another thing that can be automated. So we're going to do equals if. You can see a lot of these statements repeat themselves just in different formats. If it equals S, then I want it to say initial stop loss. Otherwise, I want it to be left blank because it could either be break even or it could be hit target 2. So here, for example, if we hit break even, I'm going to override the formula and type in break even. If it hit target 2, I'll type in hit target 2, right? Then in terms of my exit price 2, so I'm going to yellow this out, yellow, because we might have to look at it. So exit price 2, that is another formula that is going to be grayed out, so it does it all for us. So you do equals if our exit reason here equals initial stop loss, then we want it to take this price. We want it to take our stop loss price. Then you do comma, and then you write if again, because we're having 3 scenarios here. That's why you need to repeat it. If A06, so again, this, equals, open speech marks, break even. Then we want it to take our break even price number. Otherwise, because look, we've done initial stop loss, break even, the only remainder is our target 2 price. So then we're going to put in target 2 price, close brackets. You'll see if I put something in here, let's just say, yeah, because we hit target 2. If I change this to break even, it's gonna take our break even price. So that's essentially what you do. And then grey it out, because you do not need to touch the cell again. It does it for you. Boom. Now, as I said, I wanted to look at one stop loss with multiple targets. I'm just going to give you an example. So copy, Control C, Control V, and then oh wait, I haven't done my screenshots. Sorry guys. Okay, and then you need to put in your screenshots. So I personally did screenshot I did a column for each scenario. So here would be break even. You could do it all in the same column, but I just didn't want to. And then here are going to be all my screenshots for hit target 2. As I said, I'm going to show you how to automate screenshots in a 4th video, because it kind of applies to the whole spreadsheet, not just this section. There. Bold, grey, done. If you don't want to, if you don't want to automate your screenshots, I'll just show you how to input a screenshot. Literally click on the cell, right click, click hyperlink, select whatever file. So let's just say this. There, it's inserted it for you. If you want to change the name, so say yeah, then it's there. And again, let's do conditional formatting, new rule, format only cells that contain blanks, format, pattern style. I'm clicking this one. So then anything that doesn't have data in is blanked out. This makes life easier because, say for example, we get stopped out again, it's just going to remain blanked out, and it just makes it easier on the eye. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste this. Got too ahead of myself before. Control C, Control V. Now, all your formulas are going to move. So you need to change, you really need to be aware of this, because if it pulls the wrong numbers and you're working from wrong numbers, that's going to screw you over. So make sure you change these. So our stop loss is going to be the same as the stop loss here. Enter, put it down. Honestly, and do a run through of your spreadsheet after, because working with wrong numbers, yeah, you're basically basing your system's rules off of nothing. Target price 1 will be the same as target price 1 here. And remember to drag it down. Break even. If you double click, you can then scroll along and see where it's pulling the numbers from. See, it's all moved. So we want this. Let's see. Okay. So this relates to our market state. And our little red box relates to our entry price. And so does this one. You can just do the formulas again if you want. Right? It's going to be the same. Then target price 2, you need to enter this data yourself, because that's going to be, let's say, 1414 fib. So target price, exit date. Is this pulling from the right place? I think it is. No, it's not. Ah, it's because I input it myself, right? See, you really have to be careful. So exit date equals if this equals S, if our exit reason is stopped out, then we want to take this exit date, otherwise we want it to be left blank. So with a different target, but the same stop, we are also going to add something here, because think about it. Based on this scenario, if we hit break even, then this is also going to hit break even because it hasn't reached target 2. So you're basing it off of this scenario, because this target 2 becomes before this one. So we're going to add to this saying, we're just going to delete these 2 speech marks, and we're going to say if exit reason equals break even, then we want it to take our exit date for here. Otherwise, we want it to be left blank. This is basically saying if we hit our stop loss or if we hit break even, then take this date. Otherwise, we're going to have to input our own date because it's going to be hitting target 2, and obviously that doesn't correspond with the previous scenario. Sometimes this will come up because I haven't done enough brackets on the end. See, I need 2 brackets, I only did 1, and just say yeah. And there we go, because it hit break even, it's taking that, and then just double click, pull the formula down. And then we're just going to do this, and look, it's pulled it for this as well because we hit stop loss. And literally just do the same for the time, so equals if, sorry guys, one sec, equals if, we can just do it based on this, initial stop equals initial stop loss, then we want it to take this, equals break even, then we also want it to take this, otherwise we want it to be left blank, 2 at the end, and then put it down. Cool, because there's no time in here, that's why it's not come up. So break even, let's just say it was at 1 AM. There, it comes up. If I change to this to hit target 2, it's going to disappear. Yeah, so there we go. And exit reason, so we're going to have to change this formula as well because it's picking up from the wrong place. Again, just click on it and see where it's pulling the data from. See, it's gone right here. So we just want to move this back to our exit reason. If that equals S, then it means it's been stopped out, so we'll want to write initial stop loss, otherwise leave it blank. Got it? And again, we can change this to have if exit reason equals break even, then we want it to say break even. Otherwise, we want it to be blank. It got stopped out, so we're saying initial stop loss. Cool, cool, cool. And pull it down. Pull it down. Bish, bash, bosh. This is all good. Let's just check. If BA6 equals initial stop loss, then it's taken our stop loss price. If it equals break even, then it's taken our break even price. Otherwise it's taking our target 2 price. Awesome. So that's all right. Then we've got our screenshots. Obviously change these, so these aren't going to be the right screenshots. And that's basically it. If you did a 1618 or whatever you do, again, you just need to think logically. Can I link this? Can I not? If it's a different stop, then obviously you can't. If you decided to do 2 ATR, for example, then for the stop loss, I just want to show this quickly. Say you wanted to track 2 ATR. I'm not going to draw the whole thing out because we don't need to. Just as an example. So if we want to do 2 ATR, whoops, then we are going to use a formula that says equals if, see the market state column is important, if this equals bullish, then we want it to take our stop loss and we want to minus our ATR because it's 2 ATR. So we're basically saying 1 ATR minus another ATR is obviously going to give us a 2 ATR stop loss. Otherwise, we want it to do J6, which means if it's bullish, add G6. And that's going to give us 2 ATR, yeah? And then you just do that, pull it down. And you can grey it out and boom, your 2 ATR is automatically calculated. Obviously, if you're doing like a fib-based stop or whatever, it's not going to be the same. You're going to have to, like, when I've done that, I've had to manually input the stop loss. So it kind of just depends if you need to, if you can link it or not. I think, like, the main thing, just to use logic, like, all the tools that I've told you in here can be used. They're what I've used. You can apply them in different ways. You don't have to do it the way I've done it, but the point is they're here for you. So yeah, I really hope it helps you. And that's about it, guys. So as I said, obviously run through it to make sure it all works, but this is exactly what I did. And yeah, I really hope this has helped. Let me know what you thought, and see you in the screenshots video, where I'm going to show you how to automate this so that we don't have to manually input it each time. But yeah, see you guys later.